You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk 1150 AM. Now, back to the show with local mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell.
Dan, really excited to share your wealth of advice and expertise with my listeners. So thank you for coming back into studio.
Thanks, Tina.
Yeah, and a little bit about Dan. He's always open to discussing the infinite and individual unique possibilities of creating a life that you love and the means of supporting it through real estate. Dan has been an influencer in my life professionally and personally. Thank you, Dan, for all that you do to enrich people's lives and the impact that you're making on our community. I personally will be forever grateful. And Dan Wingard is currently the office leader at John L Scott Redmond. He has been a top producing realtor and leader in the real estate industry since 1998. Dan has a passion for bringing out the best in others. He provides the tools, resources, and systems for brokers to create a business and life that they love as they serve their clients at the highest level possible. He loves living in his great Northwest with his wife, Laura, of 26 plus years, with frequent trips to the sunshine as needed, and his two amazing grown daughters. Dan also loves writing, coaching, and creating music as a singer, songwriter, and drummer. And as I said, he's had such a big impact on my life. I just feel blessed, Dan, to have you in it. He actually helped me produce my song, Dream. You can actually find it on YouTube by going to Dream by Tina Mitchell. So big shout out to you, Dan. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tina.
And so, Dan, in our show title, you said that you're right where you are. What do you mean by that?
Well, the last couple of years, we've seen some changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, just yesterday, I finally tested negative. And that was 2 weeks of being positive. I like to be a positive person, but this was COVID. Yeah. So I was glad to finally be negative fully, and had minor symptoms, but was quarantined. Fortunately, I was quarantined in my studio here, so it wasn't so bad. But life can seem to go on like it's supposed to be a certain direction, and we're supposed to do certain things, and then life really shows up. And COVID and the economy and war and all, there's so much going on in our world right now that can hit us sideways, and it can seem like it's just not right and it needs to be different. And so when I say be right, or you're right where you are, that's where we always are, in the moment, in the present. And from that place, that's where life really shows up. And it's so easy, especially as an entrepreneur or realtor, to look at everyone else and what they're doing, how things should be. And if I only was somebody else, then I would have a great life. If my life was different, there was different circumstances. And I just believe that every circumstance, every situation that we have the privilege of being a part of, and it doesn't always feel like that too. And I don't tell people it's a privilege when they're having a bad day, because they're just completely disconnect. And there's some value in every moment if we can just slow down enough to embrace what's going on right there, and understand that whatever we're thinking in the moment is not necessarily truth. It's just passing thoughts that are coming in, and it's so easy to buy into a passing thought that's always transitory. So understanding that wherever you are, there's value in it, and settling down enough to be able to truly embrace that, and from there tap into the wisdom that's available for that next step.
Yeah, so true. With every challenge is an opportunity. With every tragedy, that there's a triumph. Years ago, I watched Steve Jobs' commencement speech with Stanford, which completely changed my life, because I didn't have the understanding of with tragedy comes triumph. And he talked about connecting your dots. And if you're listening to the show, I'd encourage you to do that. It was life-changing for me, and for the community that I now support. Connecting your dots is going back to all your defining moments in life and being able to connect those dots. And what I noticed during that is every tragedy that I had, the ones that I found the positive on that, I grew from. And when I didn't, it brought me down and spiraled down very quickly. Well, it brought me to writing my book and sharing my story of tragedy to triumph. So now that I know that it's true, with every tragedy, there's a triumph on the other side. But whether or not you are able to create that space for yourself to find the triumph, that's the question. But once you understand that, then your tragedies, you will always find that triumph. So, so true, Dan. So, talking about real estate, being that that is your expertise, and you manage and oversee a lot of real estate agents in our local market, is now a good time to start a real estate career?
We get that a lot, and we've seen a lot of people come into the business in the last couple of years because we've been blessed in the real estate industry and in the mortgage industry as well, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal business. It looked a little scary for about a month going into COVID, March 2020, and then just skyrocketed and continued. So with that, when the market is good, we tend to see a lot of people getting into the business. And what I will continue to say with any entrepreneur or real estate broker is it's always going to be what you make it. The market's going to be up, it's going to be down, it's going to be sideways, every which way. And it really comes down to what you're going to bring to the market. Mm-hmm. And you can create a great business regardless of the market. I had, my situation back in 2006, I partnered with a developer. And so we had all kinds of plats, and then the market just stopped by 2008. So it was a completely different, it was a failure, if you will, if you're looking at just the plats and the new construction. But the market of the moment was either bank-owned properties or short sales. And it was just a quick pivot to, this is a business of connecting with people, finding out what their needs are and filling that need. Mm-hmm. And because that was the foundation of my business, 2008 was a great year and moving forward. So as we're seeing things start to transition, it's an opportunity to bring more value to clients that have questions, to really look at the news and say, what's real, mm-hmm. what's real for you locally, and how can I bring value to each person that I have an opportunity to meet with?
Yeah. And again, what we've been talking about a lot today, with every challenge is an opportunity. So in a challenged market, there are hidden opportunities. It's finding those, just as Dan said. And, Warren Buffett says, preserve in your great market so that you have the resources to gather in your challenging market. For you, it actually isn't challenging. It's your opportunity market, but the opportunities are not there like they are in the challenging to others market. So it really gives you a chance, as Dan's saying, to shine out next to your competitors. When it's an easy market, that can actually be your challenging market because everybody is out there. So it really is a great opportunity for sure. You just have to set yourself up for success. And a lot of the things that we've been talking about today to be able to succeed in any career, whether it's real estate or something else. So
yeah,
Dan,
I think, sorry, Tina, just to cap that up, being an entrepreneur is having that ability to find the opportunity and to share that. So I think in a tough market, it's like that's a time for an entrepreneur to really shine when others are going the other direction, thinking opportunity is where everyone else is looking.
Yeah. Well, and same for me in the financial meltdown. I lost almost everything that I had. Fortunately, did not. But when I was in such a bad place late at night and ready to quit the industry, I pulled up a video on perception, and I realized when I was talking about there's no mortgages left in the financial meltdown. Well, the reality was 70% of my competitors just got out of the industry. Yeah. There was plenty of opportunity, but until you have that mindset, and then I had one of my best year to date in the middle of the financial meltdown, but all it took was a different mindset in the space that you're in. And that's when you can open up the opportunity. Because as Dan says, there is an opportunity in every market. It's just majority of people don't have the space in order to allow in what that opportunity is right now. And that's all your mindset space. So Dan, what does it take to be a successful real estate broker in, addition to what we've been talking about today?
Well, besides the basic training of how to do a listing presentation, a buyer consultation, the fundamentals, the basics. And I think this is true for any entrepreneur. It's connecting with people and setting aside the time to do that consistently. And honestly, starting out doing it badly and being okay with doing it badly, because anything new you start out, being a musician, I didn't start out great for sure. And my poor folks listening to me learning the drums, back in the I mean, you played violin, so that was probably tougher on your folks. I don't know. To me, that would be
I don't
tougher to
know.
listen to starting out. But do it badly and have the passion enough to where you can get through the awkward stages of learning anything. But it's the connection with people that has to be consistent for anything, and truly coming from that place of, am I bringing value? Am I bringing value to the conversation, that other person?
Yeah, if you come from a place of contribution, you will always monetize. And I always say the task is to ask. If you don't ask for the business, you're not going to get the business. So you have to keep asking. And again, being strategic on the ask. You can court the cold, or you can stalk the cold, or you can court the warm. So building those relationships so you can make that process more enjoyable for you and the people that you're trying to serve. You have to make those connections and consistently continue to do so, as Dan is sharing with us today. So let's
I like
talk
the
about.
cold. I like the warm.
Yeah, I want to
It's
court
always
the
warm.
warm. I don't want to stalk the cold. Much easier to be building relationships. So, Dan, not just in brokers failing, but we know in every single industry, there's a reason that there's an 80-20 rule, which actually they're saying it's shifting to a 90-10 rule. And basically that states in everything in life. But the question here that I'm going to ask you is results to every industry. If it's an 80-20 rule, that means 80% of people in any profession are only getting 20% of the results. 20% are getting 80% of the results. And that's the same in brokers. So why is it that so many real estate brokers fail in the industry?
Well, it really goes back to the connection. And I think what I see is the ones that connect succeed, the ones that track the connections, and the ones that actually pay attention to what they're doing. I mean, we have so many tools at John L Scott as far as just follow up and systems and training. And it can be so simple to, okay, I'm going to add 5 people to my database in one day. It sounds simple. Even one person to the database a day, how many people is that going to add over your career? And it's so simple not to do. So with the focus on connecting with people, there's going to be success. With the focus on everything else, which the majority tend to do, that's where they're going to fail. That's where I see it most consistently.
And so I like what you said in the tracking, because once you figure out what is working for you, it will continue to work. And then it's a matter of making small adjustments to have better results. And my first mindset is rejoicing in the small successes. So yes, every small activity that you do and you break it down to the smallest and you consistently do it, you will have a ripple effect. So with interest rates up, inflation up, and the housing prices up, is now a good time to buy, sell, or invest in real estate?
It always depends. And that's where a conversation is key with a professional, because there's, and this is consistent, opportunities everywhere. And it's always like right now, we're starting to see a flattening. We're starting to see the news say the market's going down. In our area, Redmond especially, it's phenomenal. I mean, we're up 26%, Newcastle 25% in the last year. So that's unsustainable. And as we're seeing things backing off, now buyers may not have to pay $100,000 over. There's starting to be some more openings. So it really is about lifestyle, looking at where they want to be in the next couple of years. I was looking at just historically real estate. 2008 was the kind of the big crash, right? If somebody bought in 2008, are they sorry now they bought in 2008 if they still own their place? So in King County, up 130, or Redmond's up 133% from 2008. King County is up 99% since then. So, and looking at year over year, that's about 5 to 6% per year increase. So even if the market flattens out and it doesn't show signs of going down, certainly in this area, because there's such a lack of inventory, even though we've had such an increase the last couple of years, it's and interest rates historically are still really good.
Mhm.
So it depends. And for the most part, yeah, if you've got a professional looking out for you, you're going to make a great decision, and it's going to serve your needs for what you need, not just be overall. It's like second guessing the stock market.
Yeah. Yeah. The only way you lose in real estate is you're forced to sell in a bad market. Otherwise, it's a great investment. With housing becoming less and less affordable, how do you get in with a lower or modest income?
I think putting a plan in place, like if you're not ready to buy, what are your steps to get your down payment, whatever that is? Connect with a mortgage professional. Obviously, you're the best, Tina, and have that conversation to how can I get my finances to the place where I can buy? And maybe start out with a condo or a studio or something like that, or maybe even sharing a house, but get in the market, because it's not getting cheaper and the gap is widening, but there are possibilities. So it's really getting intentional, and then meeting with a professional realtor, with a professional mortgage person that can get you on a path.
Absolutely. Dan, great advice. Really appreciate you coming into studio and sharing with my listeners.
Always a pleasure, Tina. So nice to see you.